Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Ms. Irma and Adonis for joining us today. We'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to the Office of Economic Development Business Information Session. My name is Margaret McGee. I'm the Business Services Manager. Business services assist entrepreneurs and business owners in starting and growing their business. We help in navigating through the different departments within city government to obtain permits and occupational licenses. We also connect the business community with organizations that can provide technical assistance, incentives, resources, and other programs beneficial in operating your business. One way we do this is to host business information sessions. These sessions are held throughout the year and topics are gathered from entrepreneurs, surveys, and information we collect from the business community. This is a series of 4 sessions focusing on certification, requirements, and benefits. Today we have Ms. Irma Plummer. She's the EDBP Director at Sewerage and Water Board. And we also have Ms. Adonis Expose, the DBE/SBE Liaison Officer at RTA. They both will share their expertise on certification, bid processing, contracts, procurements, opportunities, and much more. To keep down distractions, I ask that attendees please turn your video off and to mute your speakers to give our speakers our full attention. I ask that you place your questions in the chat box and we'll get to them in the Q&A section. All handouts that will be shared today, I will forward them to everyone on this call today within 24 to 48 hours after the meeting has ended. Now I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Irma, followed by Mr. Adonis. Ms. Irma, you on mute?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Irma Plummer, the Director for the Economically and Socially Disadvantaged Program here at the Sewerage and Water Board. It is a pleasure to be with you today. I'm having more technical difficulties than I've ever had on a Zoom or Teams meeting. So allow me to get my presentation. It's up. Can you see it? Don't know if you can see it.
We can't see it.
No, we can't see it. You want me to share mine?
Share screen.
Okay, there we go.
All right, now, there we go. There it is right there. Now, how do I get to a full screen? Presentation button at the bottom. Come help. This has been quite a day. All right. Got it. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the history of the Sewerage and Water Board program, to talk about our mission, our overview, a couple of committees that we use to evaluate work to be performed, and then, of course, talk a little bit about certification, procurement, and to answer any questions that you have. Our mission is to be an advocate for the disadvantaged business community. We believe that if we are diligent in our work, we can improve the number of disadvantaged businesses doing business both with the Sewerage and Water Board and throughout the city. But most importantly, we see our DBE program as an economic development driver for the Sewerage and Water Board. let me give you a little bit of background about our program. We've been around since the 1980s. Initially, we were the Minority Action Program. By 1995, we were challenged in federal court at the same time as the airport was challenged in state court for our DBE program, our disadvantaged minority set-aside program as it was operating at the time. And so in 1996, through a settlement agreement between the parties suing us and the Sewerage and Water Board and a partnership we developed with the airport, we created a race and gender neutral program that was strictly voluntary and focused on the social and economic disadvantages when we made decisions about how companies could be certified. In this arrangement, the settlement agreement, in addition to dismantling our program and forcing us to recreate it, also put forth a requirement that we look at all of our construction projects and have a committee take a look at them and determine what the appropriate DBE participation ought to be. So our staff will review the scope of work, determine if DBE participation is possible, establish a goal, forward that goal to the committee, and then the committee that you see, a 7-member committee, will determine how much DBE participation ought to be on all of our construction contracts greater than $150,000. And we've been doing this since 1996. At the same time, we decided internally that we would look at all of our other contracts, our professional services and our goods and services, and also through an internal staff review committee, look at, again, the scope of work, if DBE participation is possible, establishing a goal, allowing the committee to ratify it, and then sending that recommendation to the board. As a stopgap measure in 1999, the Sewerage and Water Board did set a minimum goal of 35% whenever possible on all professional service contracts. So if we don't do the internal staff review of our professional services and our goods and services, then we'll establish a 35% goal. And concurrently, if we are unable to do a complete committee review of construction projects, we can default to 36%. But we find it more appropriate to really scrutinize the work to be performed and set a realistic goal on it. Now, this work has as its certifying partners, the Sewerage and Water Board, the airport, and the city. And with this, I want to kind of talk about certification just a little. The Office of Supplier Diversity has already told you a little bit about certification. Through it, you can get your DBE certification, your SLDBE certification online. And I know that that service has been presented in detail, so I don't want to belabor it here. But right now, there are 611 firms with their SLDBE certification. 208 are new in the last year, and 403 are recertifications. And once again, our partner agencies are with us is the New Orleans Aviation Board and the city as well. And if you go through the City of New Orleans certification for the SLDBE program, then you are automatically certified to do work here at the board. Some of the areas for which we look for DBE participation, In our goods and services is with our janitorial services and supplies, office supplies, tires, pest control. Professional services will include security, engineering services, legal and real estate, and of course, construction, the heavy lifting done by most major primes with DBE participation for plant construction like the new West Complex power plant that we are working on right now, infrastructure repairs, and of course, point repairs to our water and sewer lines. Right now, unfortunately, there are no active solicitations at this time, but in Q2, Q3, we expect to put in a new 800 megahertz radio system. We expect to hire a contractor to handle the HVAC, the air conditioning and heating services at 2 locations in our operations, the Carrollton Water Plant and the Central Yard. We expect to rebid our river sand and mason sand contracts, as well as our janitorial contract, solid waste disposal. And we are also looking for, believe it or not, about $16 million in medium voltage cabling for the West Power Plant project we have underway right now. On your screen, you will see a website address for checking periodically to see if the specifications have been released on any of the future procurements, Q2, Q3 that I've just mentioned. That's it. Are there any questions in the chat box or that you may have?
Thanks, Ms. Irma. I'll ask that they hold the questions to the end just to give Adonis time to do his presentation, and then we'll answer all questions at the end.
Thank you.
We'll turn it over to you, Adonis.
All right, trying to share my screen. All right, can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Oh, okay, all right. My name is Adonis Expose. I'm the Disadvantaged Small Business Liaison Officer here at the Regional Transit Authority. I'm just gonna go over what is our DBE program, how to get certified, how to certify through our small business program, and how to register on our Procureware system, the system that we use so you can see solicitation and be notified of upcoming projects. So the Regional Transit Authority receives funding. What is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program? The Regional Transit Authority receives funding from the FTA, Federal Transit Authority of the U.S. Department of Transportation. In keeping with the requirements of 49 CFR Part 26, the RTA set a 3-year DBE participation goal of 32% during the fiscal year 2023 to 2025. This goal identifies the relative availability of DBEs based on evidence of ready, willing, and able DBEs in relationship to comparable businesses which are known to be available to compete in RTA's FTA-assisted contracts. The overall DBE goal reflects staff's determination of the level of DBE participation which would be expected absent the effects of discrimination. So what we do, how we get our 3-year goal, we do a forecast of our projects. So we forecasted, it was 10 projects, mainly construction projects. And then we, use the NAICS codes and a bunch of different calculations to determine our 3-year goal, which is this year's 32%. The previous 3 years, it was 30%. So we're up 2% more than what we were the past 3 years. What is the RTA DBE certification program? For DBE certification, the state of Louisiana has developed a unified certification program containing the definitions, requirements, processes, and forms to be used by a number of certified agencies. The three certifying agencies that use the LAUCP is RTA, Louisiana Department of Transportation Department, and the airport. So we are the only three certified agencies that use the LAUCP, which is the federal, any federal contract, and you have to be certified with the LAUCP if we spend any federal dollars from the FTA. As a certified agency, the Regional Transit Authority is responsible for determining and certifying the eligibility of businesses seeking to participate as DBEs on federally assisted transportation related contracts.
Yeah.
Somebody should be muted. How do I become DBE certified? Your company may qualify for the LAUCP DBE certification through RTA if your firm is at least 51% owned by a socially and economically disadvantaged individual or individuals who also controls the firm. To be considered economically disadvantaged, the individual's personal net worth, not including your primary residence, place of residence or ownership in the business, cannot exceed 1.32 million in compliance with 49 CFR Part 26.
I'm sorry, Adonis, wait 1 second. I still hear, can everyone please turn your, I'm not seeing the person that has the.
It's MSMM, look like.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Also, your firm has to be a small business that meets the SBA size standard and does not exceed 30.40 million in gross annual receipts. It used to be 28.48 million in gross annual receipts, but that as of March 1st, 2023, they raised the gross annual receipts to 30.40 million. Also, the disadvantaged owner must be a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident of the United States, and your firm has to be a for-profit business. What is the DBE certification process? So as of last July, we have an online system now. Before that, you could turn in hard copies, but now we go through B2G now, where you can submit your applications online, just upload all your documentation, which is an easier and faster way to get certified and to give us your documents. Application can be submitted online at the link that's on the screen and attach all applicable documentations. So there is a supporting documents checklist, required documents with everyone. I'm just going to run through just a few of them that you will be required to submit. Your resumes, your personal net worth statement, your personal federal tax returns for the last 3 years, any documented proof of contributions used to acquire your ownership, signed loan and security agreements, a list of all your equipments of vehicles that you have for your company, any titles, registration, any licenses, description of all real estate. So it's your bank statement, your bank authorization. So it's a whole list of documents that you have. It may not pertain to everyone, but you must submit the things that you do have on the online system. And here we have, as far as the federal guidelines, we have up to, once you submit it online and submit everything that we need, we have up to 30 days to notify you if we received everything or we have not received everything. And once we go through that process, we have up to 90 days to actually go through the certificate, get you certified. So we try to inform people if they submit all of their documentation in a timely manner, make sure there's everything, that's the faster you can get your certification done. Because sometimes we have people, they submit some documents, they may forget one or two things, and we have to go back and forth. That's gonna make your time longer to get certified. But if you submit everything that is required in a timely manner, your certification, you can get certified within 30 to 60 days. And it's up to you, once you submit everything. Our Small Business Enterprise Program. So in compliance with 49 CFR Part 26, the Regional Transit Authority must have a program to facilitate competition by small business concerns and must take reasonable steps to eliminate barriers to small business participation. The RTA has established the SBE program, which is a race-neutral strategy for achieving compliance with 49 CFR Part 26 regarding the utilization of socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. The RTA's SBE program is designed to better ensure participation of small businesses, including businesses owned by socially and economically disadvantaged business individuals, or DBEs, in federally funded contracts and procurements through race and gender neutral means. While DBE set-asides are specifically prohibited, except in limited or extreme circumstances, Section 26.39 allows funded agencies to establish race-neutral small business only competitive procurement activity for prime contractors. So we can't have a DBE set aside for just DBEs, but we can do what we do here at RTA, we can do 100% small business solicitation. So if we have 3 or more small businesses that can perform a job, we can actually do 100% small business. And as you know, all DBEs are also small businesses. So we can't do 100% DBE, but we can do 100% small business set aside. How you can qualify for small business certification through RTA. Your firm must be at least 51% owned by economically disadvantaged individuals who also controls the firms. So where the DBE is socially and economically disadvantaged, but where the SBE, small business, is economically disadvantaged individuals. To be considered economically disadvantaged, the individual's personal net worth, not including your primary place of residence, cannot exceed 1.32 million. Your firm is a small business that meets SBA standard, cannot exceed 30.40 million in gross annual receipts. The owner must be a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident of the United States, and your firm is organized as a for-profit business. Your company may qualify for SBE certifications if businesses that are currently certified as DBEs to the LAUCP are automatically eligible for SBE certification. So as I stated earlier, if you're a DBE, you're automatically SBE business. Certified DBEs seeking small business certification in the SBE program will be required to submit just a sworn affidavit of compliance. And also socially and economically disadvantaged businesses, DBEs that are currently certified can apply for both DBE and SBE certifications via the DBE certification application. So we're going to talk about the RTA procurement, how you can register your company through our ProcureWare system, which our ProcureWare system, you can review all available RTA solicitations. You can submit questions about solicitations through the same link, the Procureware site. And also you can see what projects that are coming up, because you could consider RTA capital projects, professional services, or suppliers. Well, you should know about the procurement. You first must register your company through Procureware to do business at the link norta.procureware.com. The new Procureware system will allow you to view and access all upcoming purchases, including small dollar purchases and contracts. So we have an individual, they send out requests for quotes. Anything under 25,000, we receive. We need 3 quotes for that. We don't have to do a formal solicitation. So if you register in our Procureware system and with your NAICS codes, you'll get notified of any solicitations over 25,000, which is public solicitations, and either any smaller purchases under 25,000 that you can submit any supplies that you have under 25,000, and we'll ask for 3 quotes. You can submit electronic quotes and bid proposals, submit and receive answers to solicitation questions, and view awards. As stated earlier, norta.procureware.com to register on our site. You must first open a website, click on the registration tab, input your company's name and email address, and just follow the instructions. Make sure you have your tax identification number along with your North American Industry Classification System, your NAICS codes. You need that to register also. If you do not know your NAICS codes, they can be found online at the North American Industry Classification System. After you do that, an email will be sent directly to you in order to complete your company's registration in our Procureware system. Completing registration, you put your company, you fill out all the required fields, click on the insert button to save all your entries. After you have completed all of those steps of registration, you will see a view company summary link at the top of the company page that will provide a printable summary of your complete company profile. As stated earlier, it's very important that you put your NAICS codes, which are categories used to define the products and services that your company provides, because that's the only only way we would know we can connect you with what we need if we see your NAICS codes, because the system automatically sends out an email, a capture, all of those that's under the NAICS codes of the project that we're asking about. You'll get an email, automatic email, to make you aware of the project that's coming up. NAICS codes, as stated, NAICS codes are used in matching bid opportunities with vendors that provide relevant products and services. And make sure to put in all your NAICS codes to receive future RTA solicitation and requests for quotes. On the documents page, you just upload any documents that you may have. You'll see an account approval section near the top of the company page. So it would be listed as pending, and then someone from our office will put you as eventually put you as approved. The procurement department encourages all vendors to register with our Procureware system and click on the solicitation tab to see current solicitations or requests for quotes. Subcontracting, how do we partner? So we have prime contractors. If we put a DBE goal on a project, the prime contractor has to use DBEs that are certified through our LAUCP directory. So if the prime contractor is not a certified DBE, and we have a DBE goal of 30%, they have to use a DBE certified firm that's listed in our LAUCP directory. Any of our federally funded contracts, the prime contractor must use a DBE that's certified through the LAUCP. And this is our contact information, my contact information. Donna's expose is expose@rtaforward.org. We also have Keziah Lee Cawthorn, who is our DBE program administrator. She only handles all the certifications, so she's responsible for certifying all of the firms that upload their applications in our B2G Now system. Our contract administrator and procurement is Brianna Howes, and our director of procurement and procurement and grants is Ronald Baptiste. So that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Adonis and Ms. Irma for those awesome presentations. I'm wondering, they must have been very detailed. I don't see any questions in the chat box. Oh, I see one. Will you be sending out PowerPoints? Well, that question is for me. So yes, just as previous sessions, I will send out the presentations that were presented today within 24 to 48 hours to all attendees. And I'll go ahead and open it up to anyone that have questions. You can raise your hand. Once I call on you, you can unmute yourself. Are there any questions at this time?
Yeah, I got a question. Lionel Jones here.
Okay.
All right. The Sewage and Water Board, what's that address to where I can go there and view what they have available?
Okay. She had that included in her presentation. I'll go ahead and try to put it in the chat box, but I will definitely send you a copy of the presentation, as I stated, within 24 to 48 hours.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, if there's no more questions, I would like to, I'm sorry, did I get a question going?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm Eric. I do apologize for the delay. I do have a question.
Okay.
On the event that you're just starting out, what would be like the first step? Like what kind of business do I need to be in the first place to even start applying for these things?
Mr. Adonis, would you like to answer that one?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please. I'm sorry.
Yes, as someone that's just starting out, what kind of business would I need to be in the first place? Like if I was to go and obtain an LLC, like what kind of business would I be in the first place to obtain these kind of contracts?
Well, what is your business?
I don't even have one yet. I found this on YouTube, sir, and I went and looked on NORTA.gov and y'all was having this Zoom meeting. And so I'm here, like, I'm just starting out. Like, I thought this would be a good information session, so I signed up.
So what do you like to do, or what do you do?
I'm in customer service, and I'm interested in the janitorial and office supply portion of what y'all was saying.
Do you have any experience providing janitorial services on a commercial basis to a business, where you clean up for a business?
Yes, ma'am. Like, you know, I've worked before, but not on my own service, no ma'am. Like somebody that's helping out.
Well, now, a number of things are gonna happen. You're gonna need some experience providing some goods or service, or have a license to provide a service. Your experience can be having worked for someone else.
Yes.
All right. When you go to set up a business in Louisiana, you're going to have to set up an LLC or some kind of company for profit. Typically, you let someone with that experience, say an attorney, help you do that paperwork that you will turn in to the Secretary of State in order to get the business created. You'll need to, at some point, open a bank account. Well, you say, how do you open a bank account if you're just setting up a business? Typically, in your articles of incorporation, it will say who the members are and how much they are contributing. From there, you're going to have to be pretty persuasive to convince someone to hire you absent experience. Not impossible, but challenging. And then once you get that opportunity, you're gonna have to knock it out the ballpark in terms of performing such that you begin a track record. It has been observed that there's a lot of familiarity in business where someone becomes familiar with your work, trust you to perform, and so they hire you. You do a good job and your reputation begins to develop. Articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State, a bank account, and someone who'll give you an opportunity are probably the first three things you need to do. Once you begin to do that and you believe you are ready to present yourself as a DBE because you're socially or economically disadvantaged, or you are in a program that allows you to represent as a minority or a woman, then you will begin to take those steps. But those steps for certification require tax returns, experience, and banking history. So it's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen. First thing you've got to do is figure out what you think you can do well, what you like to do. Because on those days when someone aggravates you, you're still going to have a love for what you do.
Hey, Ms. Lee, this is Adonis. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. Email me your information because there's a lot of our organizations that help startups like yourself. I know Urban League, like you're at the beginning, not knowing what you want to do. So I'm gonna put my email in the chat and just email me your information, and I can send you to some organizations that can get you started.
Thank you, Mr. Adonis.
And I'll add in, when you're ready to start that business, you can give me a call and I'll help navigate you through the city process to get all your permits and licenses.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now we'll ask if there is any more questions. Okay, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and conclude this meeting for today. I want to thank everyone for joining us, especially our guest speakers for their awesome presentations. Within 5 to 10 business days.
Margaret.
I'm sorry. Yes?
I'm sorry, I did text something in the chat because I didn't want to interrupt.
You put something in the chat? Okay, 1 second. Let me get to it.
Yes, ma'am. I can ask the question. I have a small, I'm a accounting bookkeeping service, and I've been following these programs for years and more than 5. And I'm trying to figure out how can I become a part of any bid doing bookkeeping, because most of your contracts that y'all bids y'all put out is mostly like I see is more construction or something in that area. But I do construction bookkeeping and certified payroll. So when those bids are out, can you become a subcontractor on any of those type bids? And how do you connect to the person that bidding on it to become their subcontractor, do their certified payroll, and also bookkeeping service if they need it during the time of the contract?
If you're looking to work with companies that do certified payroll says that they're getting federal dollars most times, and that they are I'm sorry, they're getting federal dollars. And so I would begin by looking at the construction contracts, and for both the city and the Sewerage and Water Board, or RTA or airport, and see when they are bidding these contracts, and participate and attend the pre-bid meetings. Identify yourself as a DBE with what services you provide and what you're trying to do, to see if the primes who are bidding need your services. I'd also watch for business networking opportunities, and they can be put on by the Urban League, by the Convention Center, by the airport, by RTA, by the city from time to time, so that you can introduce your business to the larger companies that are doing certified payrolls.
Ms. Connie, did that answer your question?
Ms. Connie, I'll put my number in the chat if you have more specific questions as well.
Okay, I do see
I'm
another.
sorry, my speaker. I'm going to put this one on mute. I'm sorry, but it did answer my question. And yes, please put your number in so that I can contact you. Thank you.
Thank you. I have another question from Ms. Michelle. Ms. Michelle, you can unmute yourself.
I have a question. I don't know if it's,
yes.
I do have a question. My name is Swanika. How are you? I have a janitorial company, and I'm also DBE certified since 2021. I've been having a problem with getting connected with people, you know, to help me with the bidding process. And I've attended the walkthroughs and everything for like different, like for New Orleans and also for Hanover. But to me, I think it seems like it's the same people winning the bids. I've put myself out there. I've done job fairs and everything. But since then, I haven't, you know, been able to obtain any pertinent information that'll help me, you know, get through the process, and, you know, or even becoming a subcontractor for the primary contractors to, you know, complete some of the work.
Once again, the Sewerage and Water Board is about to put out its janitorial services contract for all of its buildings. In the past, we have bid each building separately. This time, or bid two or three buildings, locations, I would say, because it's more than a building. This time, we're doing all our locations under one contract, unless they do something different between now and bid time. We've set the DBE goal on it. You can expect to see the specifications released in Q2 or Q3. And I would encourage you to come to the pre-bid meeting and introduce yourself as an interested DBE to work as a subcontractor with the bidding companies. Sometimes they already have their relationships established, and you have to respect that because it's about performance. I need a company that I can depend on, that I know will provide the quality that as a prime I'm looking to present to my client. And likewise, you want to work for a company that has that kind of integrity. I encourage you though, it boils down to getting to know the decision makers in the companies and establishing relationship such that they either become aware of your work or they're willing to give you an opportunity. Begin to look at the companies winning the bids all the time. Reach out to them, let them know you're there. Every now and then, something happens and you might have a window that you can slip through. Don't give up. Okay. I've also put my number and contact information there, and will do whatever I can to help.
Yeah, and just to echo what Irma saying, here at RETA, we put out a RFP for janitorial services, and we resolicited it. It should be going back out in the next 30 days. We threw out that solicitation, so they're gonna redo the scope of work, and probably the next 30 to 45 days, we'll be putting out a janitorial services contract for all of our buildings. And so I would just echo what Irma said, the same thing. Make sure you come to the pre-bids, talk to the ones that's there. You know, when you see the one, when you find out the ones that's been winning the contracts, talk to them. Everything Ms. Irma said is true.
Okay, so where could I find the information for RTA? Is it on?
Yeah, it's in my presentation. So it's
okay.
On our register on our Procurement site. Make sure you put your next codes, make sure it's under janitorial services. And when that solicitation or anything comes out regarding janitorial work, you will get an email and you will know that it's coming out. And when you see a solicitation, it's going to have a pre-bid meeting. Everything is going to be listed in that solicitation. The date, the time, when it's due, when is the pre-bid. So, but make sure you register on our Procurement. That's the only way you will find out about our upcoming solicitations.
Okay. I have another question. When they do a lot of, because I see like a lot of the contracts be for like construction, but they also do, you know, send me the solicitation. Is that because they need like post-construction janitorial work?
What project?
It's just multiple contracts for like construction. Like I get a lot of things like doing with bridges and things like that, but they send me the solicitation because I guess I'm listed as a janitorial company.
They all are different. So you probably if you review the scope of work and looking at it, it might have something about janitorial. But you have to look at each individual one, go through the scope and see if they have anything regarding that, and they may.
Okay.
And from time to time, this is Irma, look at who's sending you the solicitations and visit with them to see what categories your company is listed in. From time to time, you may need to update that. And so that they can get the best and most recent information on what services your company performs.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bonita have a question. Would you like to unmute yourself? Okay, Ms. Bonita question is, how can I find out, oops, sorry about that. How can I find out when the pre-bid sessions will take place, and how can we see the open house take place?
Okay, I was sharing my screen just a minute ago to show you the website for it's
and
loading.
I also put it in the chat box to Ms. Irma.
All right. That's the website, www.swibno.org, business bid specifications for Sewerage and Water Board. If you are registered as a DBE in any of the state and local programs, LAUCP, SLDBE, SEB, through the airport, through RTA, through the city, through the convention center. If you are registered in any of these programs, they will send out to their membership open houses, networking opportunities, and bid solicitations.
Okay, so we have a question from Mr. Jared. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to bother you. I have just one quick question or a couple quick questions. So I actually am a civil construction contractor, and I also have staffing, and I do janitorial services as well. Do we need to be a DBE to qualify for janitorial services and or the Sewage and Water Board construction work?
Not at all. You can choose to, if you have the capacity, you can choose to bid as a prime. Okay. And if there's a DBE goal on it, you will have to identify a DBE to work with you. Your DBE status will not count towards the participation goal. Now that's the Sewerage and Water Board. That's different from the city. When you're bidding and working for the city, and if you're a DBE, even if you're the prime, your participation counts. Not so with the Sewerage and Water Board. So you have to know the rules for each agency that you're working with. But no, sir, you don't have to be a DBE. You can bid as a prime for any of the civil engineering. We have a list of engineering firms that we have vetted with an RFQ, request for qualifications process, that I think they just recently updated it last year, so it might be a year or two before they update it again. But that does not preclude you from making yourself known and following bid solicitations and looking at the different engineering companies that have worked with the city and the Sewerage and Water Board for, say, the joint infrastructure, the JIRR project. All of them require engineering services. So even if you're not in a position where the opportunity exists for you to bid as a prime, let the primes know that you are here and not going anywhere, and you do good work and keep your word. Do your good work.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and so here at RTA, like for instance, a janitorial project, we had a 23% DBE goal. So you being a prime, you didn't have to, you didn't have to be a DBE. If you were a DBE and you were the prime, that would suffice for us. That'll be a 23%, as long as you're doing the majority of 30% of the work. So as far as you being a prime, you don't have to be a DBE. if they have a goal set on it, then, you know, if you have to find a DBE, that's a fight that you can make up that 23%. That DBE has to do 23% of that work. And as far as the engineering firms, we just, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, we have an on-call engineering. We put out an on-call RFQ for on-call services, engineering services. And we had about 10 proposals and we picked the top 3. And that makes up our on-call. But every 3 to 5 years, we put that out for on-call small business, 100% small business contracts.
Okay. And one more question, just real quick for the janitorial stuff at the RTA. And as far as bidding that kind of janitorial services, is that a bulk price bid? Is it in labor hourly bid or?
It's a request for qualification. So we ask for, all of your qualifications, and we don't we don't ask price for that. That's specifically on your qualifications. So when we do on call, it's per project. So
okay, all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, Ms. Irma, someone is asking for your email address.
It's in the chat already.
Okay, thank you so much. Kelly has a question. You can unmute yourself. Okay, Kelly question was, how do we find—
Good afternoon.
Okay, she got it now. Go ahead, Kelly. Okay, she got it now. Go ahead, Kelly.
Sorry. How do you, I guess, solicitate the individual companies that are awarded for the bids to basically partner up or get them to use you, as well as how do you, if you're not the prime, because the bond money and all of that becomes confusing. As a sub partner, do we have to facilitate having the bond money and this type of letter assurance permit? Like because I'm unfamiliar with this information.
Typically, as a subcontractor, you are required to have your liability and your workers' compensation and your insurances. You're not required to post bond. Most times, that's a requirement of the prime.
Okay. Okay, so how do we find individuals who are awarded the work?
Call procurement office for any of the agencies in working for.
Okay.
Yeah, and most times on our Procurement site, we list whoever was awarded the project.
Is it so many days after it's awarded, or
once our board awards it? Then normally they put within a week. Within a week, who it was awarded to.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Let me just say that you want to do some due diligence and some researching before the contract is awarded. Chances are good that once the contract is awarded, the prime already has some idea of who's going to perform as a subcontractor on this project. Now, during the duration of the contract, anything can happen. Primes can have disagreements with subs. Subs can have disagreements with primes. They can end those relationships, and an opportunity then exists for another sub to come in. But if you are starting out, don't wait until award time. If you're trying to get in on the front end, begin by seeing who typically bids. And the procurement officers can tell you who has been bidding on these services for the last iteration and for others. But like you say, begin to see who the players are. Introduce yourself. Let them know you're available. They may not have anything for you then, but they know who you are. Watch for the bid opportunities. Show up again. Remind them that you're not going away. I promise you, at some point, the door will open.
Thank you so much, Ms. Irma. Any more questions?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Is the process the same with trying to get work at the airport? Like bid on airport, is the process the same with RTA?
They do their own projects, we do our own projects. We all, RTA, DOTD, and the airport, we all do LAUCP certifications, but each one of us have our own procurement practices.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And just so you know, the Sewerage and Water Board in the city, they accept LAUCP. Even though they have their own SLDBE certification process, they will accept LAUCP.
So is that the only certification we would need, is the DBE? Because I'm running into a lot of saying where I need to be, by me being a woman's own, I need to have the WB or something certification like that. They're telling me that DBE is just not enough to bid on some projects.
That may be correct.
Well, I know here RTA, in any federally funded contracts, that we put a goal on, we have to use DBEs that are certified to LAUCP. If we're using non-federal funds, we can use, people that's certified through the city. We can use, we back, like you said, women's business. So we just use LAUCP if we're using federal funds. If we're not using federal funds, we can use DBEs from, other agencies.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I just want to interject. My name is Benita Benter Rice. I'm with the Small Business Administration, and I have to say this has been an excellent presentation and program for today. With response to the person who was asking about the woman-owned small business certifications, yes, WeBank offers it. We have tons of other places that offers it, and by you reaching out to WeBank and the other women business associations that are out there, you become part of their group. So you will pay for a membership to become part of it. Now, not all of you are there as yet. And so the next best option, or I should say the best option, not the next best, would be the woman-owned small business certification. And we look at it from two perspectives. One of them is that you are a woman-owned firm and you're not a small business, and the other one is a woman-owned that is a small business. And we tend to give a woman-owned small business, which is the WOSB, that can go to everyone, whether or not you're small or large. With the small, for us to really say that you are a small business as a woman-owned firm, you'd have to be in business for more than 2 years, and you will have to show taxes. Full taxes for those 2 years. However, we do provide training. We have a great online training system called Ascent that was developed for women businesses. However, it's open to men as well. We don't want to we don't want to retard anybody's growth, so it's open for men as well. So we do ask that, and we're more than willing to send you the link. This is something that you can do on your own time, and it's very, very what's the word? It has a lot of information in it and should get you from A to Z by the time you're done. But again, the SBA is the one that monitors and offers the woman-owned, the WASB, that you are asking about. And I would encourage you, if you wanted to give me a call at 504-589-2055. That is a virtual phone, so I will see it. And if you leave a message, I will get the message. Just please speak clearly, because it does not translate well. So please take your time and speak clearly. But if you want any more information about the woman-owned small business, we are available at the Small Business Administration, which is a federal organization. We are here to help you.
Can you repeat that phone number?
504-589-2055. And I'll also give you the email address. I'll type it in the chat. That would be easier.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bonita, and I am glad you joined us today.
So trying to work incognito today.
Yes.
Yes. Nice seeing you all.
Yes. So are there any more questions? Okay, I see Kelly unmuted herself. Kelly, go ahead. Okay, I think Kelly may have gotten a little shy. So I'll go ahead. I want to thank everyone for joining us today, especially our guest speakers for their awesome presentations. Thanks to Ms. Bonita for joining us and giving us some information from SBA also. Within 5 to 10 business days, this session will be available on the Office of Economic Development YouTube channel, along with previous recorded sessions. Our next session is Thursday, March the 16th, and our speakers are representatives from the Southern Region Minority Supplier Development Council and the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. Remember to check your emails for reminders, and I hope you all will join us again. Again, my name is Margaret McGee. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and I wish everyone a great day.